the citizens there. And so what used to be known as Chocolate City, they don't even have the right to continue to have this Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. because they have ordered them Republicans. This is MAGA Republicans who are making D.C. do this. And so it was great and wonderful to be able to look outside, to walk along that Black Lives Matter Plaza. We would, of course, do the show from there on the anniversary of the death of George Floyd. We did it there three different times, but it is no more because of these MAGA Republicans. That's what's shameful and despicable, Mondale. And again, they want to control Black bodies. They want to control Black lives, and they absolutely want to control Black politicians.
This is disgusting behavior. The act of them destroying it in this way is the purpose. This is exactly the purpose. They see this in DC, a city that is 45-50% Black, and they think this is what their mandate is. Because it is, Roland. Their mandate is to make sure that Blackness, Black dignity is destroyed, but they don't know 4 years and one administration, no administration is strong enough to do that. What you will do, though, is you will continue to show the world, just like the racist white people in the 60s showed when John Lewis and those boys and those women tried to march across the bridge. They showed the real character of white America. And we're seeing it right now with the destruction of Black Lives Matter Plaza.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about Roly-Poly-Oly Martin, okay, who is going viral, okay? He's going viral over this video that he posted where he's going to talk about this very, very, very bad case of racism that he experienced, okay? What Black people have to go through every single day, okay? Because being Black in America is so hard, it's so difficult, especially for millionaire Blacks like Roland Martin, right? The bourgeoisie Blacks, they go through so much racism, okay? It's so terrible for them, okay? Multi-millionaires getting paid to do DEI consultations and things like that and to talk about how racist white people are. Yeah. So bad, right? So terrible, okay? It's so bad for Black people in this country, right? So, again, Roland Martin is going to speak out about his experience with racism, or what appears to be racism according to him. And I want to react to it because this right here is the type of mindset that Black people desperately need to get out of ASAP. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
White people really crack me up. So, y'all see what I got on. So when I travel, like vacation and stuff, or time off, man, listen, I ain't trying to pack a whole bunch of shit, so I color code. So everything in my bag is Texas A&M. So sometimes it might be all Astros, all Rockets, all Texans, all Alpha. So I'm walking. White dude says, "You a fan or did you play?" I knew exactly what he was talking about. I said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Oh," he said, "what you have on? Are you a fan or did you play?" And mind y'all, I got on Aggie shorts, maroon shoes, okay? Because I keep it simple when I pack. All I said was, "No, I'm a graduate." And I walked off. That's the shit Black people have to deal with when we go to PWIs.
Now, before I get into my commentary here, right, I just want to remind people, okay, that Roland Martin, okay, got confronted by a white guy about what he was wearing, okay, and Roland Martin saw this as a form of racism, hate, and bigotry, right? I'm just surprised that Roland Martin didn't pull his special because we all know what Roland Martin likes to do to white guys that he disagrees with.
When you're sitting opposite of Scott Jennings, you got to jump in his ass. You got to jump in his ass. Jump in his ass. You gotta push back immediately. Jump in his ass.
That clip will never, ever, ever get old, bro. That clip will never get old. I absolutely love it. I think it's my favorite clip of 2024, to be honest with you. But let's get to the subject here, right? What Roland Martin is talking about. He's saying as a Black person who has went to a PWI, a predominantly white institution. This is what they call schools that are not HBCUs, right? They call them predominantly white institutions, okay? He says, well, as a black person that went to that type of school, this is what you have to deal with, right? Nobody believes that we actually graduated from the school, right? Everybody believes that we're a fan or that we're athletes or whatever. And he thinks that this is a form of hatred and bigotry, right? Of racism. This is what black people have to go through, which, by the way, if this is all black people got to go through, right? If this is what they're talking about in regards to how tough it is to be a black person in this country, right? Which is to basically be questioned about whether or not you're a fan or athlete because you're wearing a university's paraphernalia, then black people got it pretty damn well in this country, because best believe a vast majority of the black people complaining about the treatment for whites in this country, this is what they're talking about. These type of interactions are exactly what they're talking about, okay? Because I've witnessed this so much throughout my life, okay? So many black people complain when white people aren't groveling at their feet happy to see a black person, right? If white people don't interact with them in the way that they feel like they should be interacted with, then, oh my God, this is racist, right? The white person is terrible. Hey, for example, I've heard so many times, black person, but well, my white neighbor, he don't say hey to me in the morning, right? He don't wave at me in the morning when he on the way to work. Therefore, he must not like me. He must be racist. And I'm like, what? Just because they don't wave at you or they don't say hey, that doesn't mean that they're racist, okay, or that they hate black people. That's not what it means, okay? But I'm so serious. I'm very serious about this. A lot of black people get offended when white people do not interact with them in ways that they feel are adequate, show adequate, happiness, right, to see a black person. It happens all the time, right? In this situation right here, Roland Martin is approached by a white guy who clearly, in my opinion, I think is giving him a compliment. Okay, if somebody looks at Roland Martin, who clearly is a high-calorie individual, okay, and they say, hey, man, you play football, right? They ask you, did you play football or whatever when you were an athlete? That's a compliment, brother, right? You better take that, right? I mean, again, especially now, Roland Martin is probably, 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", and again, high-calorie individual. I wouldn't guess he played football, right? I wouldn't guess that at all. If somebody say that you play football, that is a compliment, okay? That is not racism. You better take that and keep it moving. You could have been happy. But see, Roland Martin let this white guy ruin his day, right? Enough to make a video on the internet because a white dude simply just asked him if he was a fan or if he played sports or was he an athlete. Again, this is the type of fragile, weak mentality that black people have to get rid of. I'm so serious, okay? Because nobody else is like this, okay? These people care way too much about what white people think, okay? When you're obsessed with what white people think about you, this is the type of mentality that you have, right? This is how you interpret these type of interactions, right? You see every interaction with a white person that doesn't go the way that you want it to go as some type of microaggression at the bare minimum, right? And at worst is hate and bigotry, right? He doesn't think that I graduated. He doesn't think that I'm an alumni. He doesn't think that I'm smart enough to be a student. That's why he asked me, was I a fan or an athlete, right? And I don't think it's that deep. I do not think it is that deep, okay? Definitely not deep enough to get hurt, to be offended enough to make a video pretending to be a victim because somebody asked you a question. Again, I'm one of these black people. I have went to a so-called PWI, right? I went to UNC Chapel Hill. And, when I wear UNC paraphernalia, people ask, hey, did you go there? Were you a student? Were you an athlete? These are regular, normal things. Right? If anything, if somebody asks you a question, okay, somebody comes up to you and they ask you a question like that, they're trying to be nice to you, right? They're trying to make conversation. They're trying to get to know you, right? They're interested in you for whatever reason. And to say that that's racism or hate or, bigotry or that, that's somebody trying to put you down, which is just an extremely silly conclusion to come to, okay? And you realize how silly it is when you pull your mind out of victimhood, right? When you pull your mind out of victimhood, and most importantly, stop caring about what white people think, okay? Or whether or not a white person likes you or whether or not they love you. Because again, a lot of these people, they just want that hug, right? They want that hug from the white man. This is why they get so offended. When white people don't treat them the way they feel like they should be treated is because they desire love and affection from the whites. And again, they express that through their anger at white people, okay? Always boo-hoo, whine, and cry racism over everything that the white man does that they don't agree with, right? That's how they express the fact that they want love and affection from white people, okay? But again, when you stop caring about what white people think, then, you know, these type of interactions, you don't see it that way, right? You don't look at it from a victimhood mentality. You look at it from a, oh, wait, okay, this person is interested in me, right? He's interested in my paraphernalia. He wants to know more about my background and what I've done. And, you know, that is essentially how most of those interactions go, right? If somebody approaches you and they're asking questions about what you're wearing, right? And they're asking you questions about your background and stuff like that, most likely they're just trying to spark up a friendly conversation. That's it. But the unfortunate reality is that woke academics have brainwashed black people into believing that this is what they call implicit bias, okay? Which is that because the white dude is white, his whiteness led him to believe that there's no way that Roland Martin, who's black, could be a student, right? He's either an athlete or a fan, okay? Can't be a student, and that's why he asked the question that way. That's the theory behind this. When it has nothing to do with his skin color, as much as it has to do with the fact that, again, Roland Martin is a larger than average individual, okay? He's a high-calorie individual, and these are questions that high-calorie individuals get, especially if they're running around with university paraphernalia. I'm pretty sure white guys who are larger than average, okay, large white guys who run around with paraphernalia and stuff like that from university, I'm pretty sure they get asked the same question. And again, this specific interaction had nothing to do with Roland Martin going to a so-called PWI, okay? Because my father, he went to HBCU, and he wears his HBCU paraphernalia around all the time. And he's a big guy, right? He's huge, right? A huge guy. And he's always asked, hey, did you play there? Right? What'd you play? What position did you play? Right? He's always asked, did he play football? And it has nothing to do with his skin color. It has everything to do with the fact that he's a big dude that looks like he played football, right? I mean, he looks like he could have played in the NFL, to be honest with you, okay? I'm very mad that I did not inherit his genetics, okay? But I'm just saying that yeah, that's what it has to do with, right? It has nothing to do with your skin color, okay? In Roland Martin's case, I think is because, again, he is a high-calorie individual, right? So he's a larger than normal human being. He's walking around with all this paraphernalia under school, and, you know, hey, people are going to wonder, hey, did you play? You know, what's going on? Like, you know, you know, they want to know more about your background, right? Everybody's always excited to meet somebody that potentially played football, right? Or something like that. You know, and it's just funny to me how, again, you have people who interpret just regular, normal interactions that, in my opinion, are cordial, that are generally like positive in nature, right? How can you turn this into a negative, right? You find some way to turn this into a negative interaction. This must be a sad life, right? It must be sad to live your life like this. And this is why I encourage so many black people, please get your mind out of victimhood, okay? Stop living your life looking for microaggressions from white people. Stop caring about what white people think and just live your life, okay? Don't approach every interaction with a white person from a perspective of potential confrontation or negativity or thinking about whether this person is racist, whether or not they like you or not. It doesn't matter, okay? Once you get your mind out of victimhood, those type of interactions are going to generally be more positive. You're going to have better mental health. You're going to enjoy life better. You're going to make more friends. Your network is going to expand. You're going to be generally more likable, right? Get your mind out of victimhood, okay? It's not a good way to live. I promise you, you do not want to live like this, right? You do not want to be that person that's running around living life wondering whether or not the white person that you see walking past you in the store likes you. It's not a good way to live. It's not a healthy way to live. It's just not. It's just not. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.